welcome back to the PhatPhish Guitar Studio. I'm Dave, and in this video I'm going to be answering a question that was sent in by Robert. Now Robert sent this in response to the review video that I did of the Boss FS6 dual foot switch, which is down there on my pedal board. Robert's question was this. It says, I use this pedal for my Boss E-Band JS8. I use channel A to put the song on and click again to put the song off. I use channel B to go from clean sound to a distortion sound. I love all the sounds on the E-Band, so my question is this: could I connect a second FS6 dual pedal attached to the first one to add more sound? In other words, adding two different sounds for channel A and two different sounds for channel B on my second FS6 pedal using the E-Band JS8. So I'd end up with having more sounds using two of the FS6 pedals. Okay. I'm not familiar with the Boss E-Band that you mentioned, but to be honest, I am familiar with the way that Footswitches and wiring work, so I'm pretty sure the answer to this is going to be no. I'll explain why. What's happening with the FS6, or well, any foot switch, is it's literally that. It's a switch. It works the same way that like the pickup selector switch on your guitar works, the same way that the light switch on your wall works. It turns a circuit on or off. It opens or closes a connection between two wires. That's what a switch does. So if you look at the cable that comes out of the foot switch, I've got two independent single switches, and the cable that comes out looks like this, or you've got a combined TRS1 where both switches go down the same cable and it looks like this. If you're not familiar with the different types of cable, I have done a video separately which I'll put a link to down there. But basically, if you think about the single foot switch, you've got a circuit. It's part of a circuit, so the signal comes in from the E-band or whatever it is that you're controlling into one part of the cable, into the foot switch, comes out on the other part of the cable and back to the pedal or whatever it is that you're controlling. And if the switch is open, that circuit is open, and whatever it is at the other end doesn't do something. And if the circuit's closed, the signal goes all the way through and the thing on the other end does do something. And you've got the combined one, which is the TRS, where both pedals or both switches go down the same cable, but what you've got is it's basically a common ground. I don't want to get into electronics, but what you've got is something which allows one circuit to be open or closed, or the other circuit to be open or closed. So what you need to think about in terms of your E-band or whatever it is that you're controlling on the other end of this foot switch is, what is it actually seeing? It's not seeing anything particularly clever. All it's seeing is a circuit. So it's saying like, well, if this circuit is open, then I'm going to be on the clean sound, and if this circuit is closed, I'm going to be on the distorted sound. It's only a binary thing. The circuit is open, the circuit is closed. It's not something that's got states. So by trying to stack switches into switches, which, to be honest, there isn't the facility on the FS6 to do this. You can't stack them together. But even if you could, what presented at the pedal is still that single connector with the, if you like, the positive and the negative part of the circuit. You can't like add switches in to say, well, one switch is open but the other is closed, because the thing at the other end just flat out doesn't understand it. There are ways you can do more complex switching like this, and this is where you move into the world of MIDI, where MIDI isn't so much about just opening or closing a circuit. It's about sending data, it's about sending signaling. It says what I've got on the switch is this particular setting, and then the thing at the other end will say, oh well, if you've selected this setting, then it means you want a clean sound with chorus. You select a different setting on the pedal, and the thing at the other end says, oh well, I take that to mean you want a distorted sound with chorus. Yet another setting, all right, that means I want a distorted sound without a chorus. So all the different combinations, and you kind of program the device at the other end to understand how it reacts to the signal that it gets from the MIDI controller. And the thing is, you can't just plug a MIDI controller into something that doesn't support MIDI. You need to have compatibility between the device and the controller. The good thing is MIDI is a standard, so if you get something that is MIDI compatible, you know that if you've got a MIDI foot switch, it will work with that. I've got friends who have like big rack systems. They have a MIDI floor controller to do all of the switching, to send signals to say, I want this particular patch, and the thing at the other end will react to it because it understands MIDI. If he gets rid of one particular digital reverb unit, replaces it with something else, then he knows it'll understand the signal that's coming from the flow controller. So, simple answer to your question about using multiple FS6 foot switches is no, you can't. And that's a general rule for anything with foot switches. They're simple on-off type of thing. There are more complex ways of doing switching, but that gets into MIDI. If you're using a basic pedal board, there's something kind of a little bit like a halfway house, which is an effects looper. That's kind of beyond the scope of this video. If you want, I think I have done a video with my buddy Neil. We did a Guitar Geeks, just talking about pedals and effects and gear and stuff a little while ago. If I can find a link to that, I'll put that in the information section down there as well. But the effects looper switching like that, it still comes down to the same thing. You're opening or closing a circuit, and lots of things are happening, but you're having multiple things routed through a looper. It's quite complex and beyond the scope of this video, where basically I'm just answering the question about whether or not you can stack FS6 switches. So bottom line, simple switches give you simple switching. More complex stuff, you need something a bit more complex. Okay, Robert, hopefully that has answered your question. Might not be the answer that you particularly wanted, but such is life. If you enjoyed the video, please click like. If you enjoyed it a lot, then please click subscribe. All the options down there. If you've got a suggestion for a future video, then if you send it here, I'll try and get around to answering it as soon as I can. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.